So this morning's lesson was the parable of the shrewd manager. And it's an interesting one because on the face of it, it looks like somebody does the right thing for the wrong reasons. And you wonder how the steward could actually be thanked by the master who he'd been defrauding. But actually, a little bit of context is helpful in the reading because we understand how people in Jesus' time had taken the Old Testament law that people who are destitute shouldn't be exploited by being charged taxes, how they changed that and manipulated it through the oral tradition to make it out that even if you had a tiny bit of oil or a tiny bit of wheat, you weren't destitute and hence you could be charged interest. And so what the steward actually does is renege on that agreement that he had with people already where he was charging them interest, taking them back to a state where he was treating them as God intended people to be treated, so fairly and without exploitation. And for that reason, the master can say, A, that's the right thing to do, and B, you're no longer abusing my wealth and generosity for your own ends. But of course, the key thing here is to recognize the metaphor of being entrusted with something of great worth by somebody who gives this to you and then expects you to do the right thing with it. And for all of us who have an awareness of God's love in our hearts, we have been entrusted with God's great love. We have been shown the kingdom of heaven here on earth. And there is a need to do something with that, to take it out into the world and to make it useful and to benefit people. And certainly none of our actions to exploit others or do anything wrong with them. So that was the key message to learn from today's reading, to be like the steward and recognize that we have been entrusted with these things of great worth and that we are called to account. We need to be people who do useful things with all that God has entrusted to us, with the same urgency that he felt when he felt he was about to be dismissed. So for all of us, recognize the state we're in, blessed in God's great love and presence, and do something useful with it for the benefit of all, treating all fairly and equally, and showing God's unconditional love, because we ourselves have been loved first and freely.